Hello again. Welcome back. Thanks for checking out my little 5 element series. Today's the last day. I don't know how that happened, but it did. We got through all the elements, and today we're talking about the water element. So also, today is the last day because my course is closing. So if you want to find out more about the elements, you can scroll through all the replays and watch the entire series, or you can find out more on my website, naturallyjess.com. So today we're going to talk about the water element. We're going to talk about some of the gifts and the strengths of the water element, and some of the challenges that the water element can bring up, as well as a few tips and ideas you can do easily at home to work with the water element, because sometimes it takes some work. So water element, it's like the origin of everything. It's, the beginning and the end, which is why it's appropriate to be here right now, today. So it's the seed, it's that seed that is buried in the dirty mud, and it's the potential of so many things. It's the opportunity, and it's the instinct, it's really the inner knowing. It's like the faith that you have. And it can be different for each person. In fact, I ask you, how do you know what you know? You might just think you know, but let me ask you more specifically. How do you know what you know? Is it from your intellect, or your intuition, or your experiences? So your intellect, your intuition, or your experiences, those are all really 3 totally different things, and that is just an example of the multitudes of ways that we can know something. And yet the water element is that deep inner knowing. And so it can also be related to not just your brain, but more specifically the marrow in Chinese medicine, or reproduction, it's the life force basically. And it's really deep, like water is. It's blue or black, and it's reflective, and it's really goes with the flow. It can kind of meander around a little bit and not always go in one direction like a river might. It's the energy of a deep philosopher, or a deep conversationalist. Imagine the kind of gloomy artist sitting in the coffee shop, meandering all day through a stream of thought consciousness that's kind of groany and deep and heavy. And it's beautiful as well. In fact, it's also that energy of the baby. It's the innocence. So it goes back to that idea of the seed. It is really the beginning and the end, because a seed comes after the harvest as well. And the beauty of this deep meandering conversation is that this person can really go with the flow and get lost in the details, and that's often really beautiful. So some challenges of the water element are that this depth and plunging into the depths of life can also be this. Imagine that you just were taking a dive in the ocean, and you decided to open your eyes and look up at the world, and everything's kind of distorted and murky. And sometimes this deep digging or deep immersion can feel a little bit that way. It can not always actually be accurate, which brings me to something that I've been working with a lot the last week, which is fear. Fear is a really real thing, and it shows up at the beginning of the planting of a lot of seeds. Is this going to work? And I am just afraid of all the things I don't know. So fear often shows up when an opportunity presents itself, and it's really just the nature of the water element. It's the beginning and the end, and it's dark and it's beautiful. And sometimes the water element can feel depressing or too afraid to do anything, It needs a lot of rest. The water element time of year is the winter, It's when we're supposed to be hibernating. But everybody knows that feeling when it's really cold and dark outside, and you've stayed home already for a day or two, and you just really are sick of it. So the water energy needs a lot of rest and needs to recoup. and you know, can just tend to get a little dark. So they're very emotional and reflective and often amazing artists. But what's important for someone that has a lot of water element influence in their life is that they just need to take this time to rest. They really need to allow themselves time to meander down the river and to reflect a little bit. And it's just another challenge related to the water element can sometimes be low back pain, joint pain, fatigue. You know, they might take things a little bit slower than everybody else, as, you know, a seed needs to sit in the dirt for a little while before it sprouts. So this is like the rest time in the creative cycle that comes after you've, you know, harvested in the fall your manifestation in your project, and then in the autumn you have like let go what's no longer serving you and weeded the garden, and now it's just sitting there a little bit still. And so stillness is really important and one of the greatest remedies for working through fear or just trying to cultivate courage. One of my favorite all-time yoga moves is like just simply legs up the wall. I heard it once described as like a yogi's martini, and it's totally true. You know, at the end of the day, it's like 5 o'clock. Instead of going out for a cocktail, just throw those legs up the wall and imagine the river flowing down from your feet now that are high, scanning your knees into your lower abdomen, and let your lower abdomen really like feel the bottom of the waterfall. Just let that energy really flow there, because it's in that lower dantian, the lower abdomen, that the kidney energy is easily accessed. So lying with your legs up the wall is amazing. Yin yoga is also incredibly restorative. And just like deep relaxation, foot massage is really a great way to regulate the kidney energy. If you're pregnant, you know, consult a professional and don't go doing too deep a foot massage. But the water energy just wants to chill out, you know, and when it's done, it will feel its potential. So simply put too, you can like go jump in the river. It's super hot today. You could even go jump in the ocean, but it's really cold in San Francisco. But let me tell you what, that will just shake the fear right out of you and wake you up. So I also recommend taking Epsom salt baths for like joint pain and back pain. If you are post-workout, I really like to make a blend of like essential oils with a carrier oil. You know, rosemary and basil is amazing. I love vetiver for muscle spasms. All these things are really just related to how the kidney chi, the life force, can get a little bit depleted and need some nourishment. So food remedies for the kidney water energy are seeds, especially like black sesame seeds. Walnuts are so good for the brain. I mean, you don't need to eat that many, just a few in your palm, and it's amazing when you're just having brain drain or fatigue. And let's see, all seeds and nuts, almonds, they're delicious. So I love the water energy. It's the end and the beginning. We get to rest, we get to plant new seeds. It's like right where we are today in this series, the end of the quick intro and the beginning of maybe learning a whole lot more. So as you have noticed, I've been talking a lot about the spiritual antidotes. I mean, I spend my days in the clinic talking about the physical and physiological symptoms and then herbs to fix that. But a lot of this stuff is really just like simple, but when used in a specific way, it's profound. And you can get to that specific spiritual antidote or remedy by really taking time to know yourself better. And, you know, I can spend many weeks asking a lot of questions of clients that they could come up with on their own if they were to just simply, you know, curate their time with themselves a little bit better. And so that's a lot of what this course is about, is like how to use the bits of time that you have set aside to take care of yourself, to really do that in the most effective way. And so the opportunity here is to know yourself better. The invitation is to like go deep but have fun. And so that's why I want you to join my course called The 5 Elements for True Health and Success. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It starts on Friday. It's super affordable, and You can find out more on my website, like I said, naturallyjess.com. And I just want to say, though, this is the end of this series. I have had a great time, and I've got a lot of good feedback. So if you had a good time and you want me to talk about other things related to holistic and natural medicine or the mindset of well-being, please leave some comments or shoot me a message. We'll see what kind of ideas come together over the next few weeks, and maybe we'll start doing a weekly talk, because the end of one cycle is the beginning of another. And the most important thing for everyone to remember when they're in that, rest and reflection time, when we are really feeling the kidney energy, the water element, is that we must only do one thing: set our intention on absolute freedom. It's from this freedom and this super focused intention on freedom that we're able to plant the right seeds. So, yay! I am talking about winter and the water element on summer solstice. And now it's time to go out and dance. I'm going to go out and dance tonight. And I hope that you're out enjoying the beautiful sun or the long day wherever you are. And I really appreciate you being here. And I hope you get a good night's sleep, because the water element wants lots of sleep after lots of play. So thanks again. I'll see you all soon.